I think I went in probably the first of July, and I was operated on the 5th of July. I was in the main part. We have a single room for about, I think, 2 weeks, and got some physical therapy at that time, and then was transferred to the rehabilitation section, which where they really get you into physical therapy 3 times a day, and sometimes it's very, very exhausting. But they give you plenty of rest times. Well, I had an infected foot. Well, it started out as a pain by my little toe, and the pain just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it got so bad, then my toes evidently started dying and turning black. And when they got really black, that's when we decided that, after consulting with 3 doctors that I have, my main doctor and then the heart doctor and the doctor did the amputation, just made the decision I better get this taken care of while it hasn't progressed any further than they think that they can save most of my leg and not have to amputate the whole leg. Because if I had to amputate the whole leg, I'd be toast. The thought of, I don't even think I had the thought of that amputation until the first doctor that did the amputation told me that I would have to have that. And I, for some reason, I've just kind of put it out of my mind, because I don't specifically remember anybody telling me you're going to have an amputation. But somebody must have, because I made the decision to go ahead and proceed with that, knowing that they have, which I can't pronounce, prosthetics, that probably I could be walking normally again. And that's where I was at that point. Well, I was obviously anxious. Anybody would be, I think, too. Well, I don't even recall anybody really saying what was going to happen. And maybe I just blocked it out of my mind, and it's still blocked out. And take it. And that's, well, that was my feeling, I think, at that time. In the main part of the hospital, I keep saying the main, opposed to when I got transferred to the rehab. In the main hospital, I don't recall anybody specifically. I think everybody was very helpful, and it was enjoyable being in a single room. And Trudy coming all the time. Visitors coming all the time. When you're in the main part of the hospital, everybody knows where you're at pretty easy. So that kept my mind off of whatever. But in the real physical therapy, two people come to mind. Julius and Robin. But everybody was great. When I wore my Warner Brothers thing, there was a guy that loved the Warner Brothers. So we had a lot of conversation with that, and he showed me his book he bought, and things like that. So I think the most enjoyable part between the main hospital and physical therapy was more fun than than the main part of the hospital. I don't know. I'm just 3 weeks up at home. I'm looking forward to getting on with it. And then we'll see where we go from there. Well, it's that question has to be answered in a twofold thing, because you have the main part of the hospital, which I was in, which I would probably rate as, I'd give it a 10. The rehab part, I would have to give it a 10 plus.
Great. And the likelihood of recommending this hospital, again, 1 being worst, 10 being best?
Well, if anybody has to, I say don't go to the hospital, but I would say I would give it a 10. Could be wrong.